Okay, hello out there. Today, we are very excited to welcome Matthew Williams, who is the co-founder and managing director of Wattletree Capital Partners. Thanks for joining us today, Matthew.
No worries. Yeah, thank you for having me. It's much appreciated.
It is absolutely our pleasure. I'm really looking forward. I love what you guys do, and I'm really looking forward to digging a bit deeper and sharing it with our people. So let's get straight into it. Tell us, what do you guys do at Wattletree Capital Partners?
Yeah, not a problem at all. So myself and my business partner, Pat Prenderville, we launched Wattletree Capital Partners at the beginning of this year. We're a traditional search fund, which is a small private equity fund, and our aim is to acquire a small to medium-sized business with the aim of going in and helping to manage, grow, and scale the business over time. And so we spent much of last year preparing for the launch, and we kicked off our search in March of this year.
Oh, how exciting. It's always exciting when new businesses start. So what sort of businesses do you look for?
Yeah, so we're looking to engage with business owners that might be considering or actively looking to transition ownership. So business owners that may not have a sort of dedicated succession plan within their family business, or for whatever reason are looking to transition their ownership. So we're looking to engage with business owners of businesses in the sort of 10 to 25 million EV range. So generally businesses in excess of $10 million revenue and in excess of $2 million EBITDA are the types of businesses that we generally look at.
Yeah. And when you what I really love about what you guys do is it's not just a matter of kind of coming in and changing everything up and taking over. You have a real organic way of working with the businesses that you work with. Yeah,
absolutely. I think there's a lot of non-financial benefits to perhaps engaging with a search fund. Our aim is to acquire one single business, and so we look to engage with business owners where they may have been working in their business for decades, and their brand, their business, their team, their employees, their customers are all really important to them, and they want to see all of those things protected and hopefully to continue on and grow and scale over time. And so Pat and I offer that opportunity for us to come in, build on their legacy, work with their current management team and their employees to take the business on the next journey into the future.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. It's great. And we talked about this just before, it's a real unique selling proposition for your business as well to really separate you from your competitors. Because one thing that we do with our clients is we want them to identify what makes them different so that you compete on what you do and what you're good at, opposed to price and money all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody understands that, the private equity market, particularly the end of the market that we're operating in, is very competitive. And, you need a way of differentiating yourselves. And it's not always possible, particularly for us to compete always on price. Therefore, we need to be able to offer other things that business owners might be interested in.
Yeah. And I know you're based here in beautiful South Australia, but your partner is based in the West. Is there a geographical area that you look at, or are you open to all of Australia outside? What sort of areas do you look at?
Yeah, we're searching Australia-wide. Yeah, as you mentioned, I love living here in Adelaide, and Pat is based in Perth. And so we operate remotely as a team throughout the week, but we engage with business owners around Australia, and in time, as we work through due diligence and hopefully towards an acquisition, then Pat and I will make decisions on where we'll base ourselves to best manage and grow and scale the business.
These days, it's a lot easier to work that remote. A lot easier remotely than it was previously. But are you finding any challenges by the two directors being in different cities?
Yeah, to be honest, we haven't had any issues whatsoever. I mean, we engage via Zoom, telephone, many times throughout the day to have a conversation. We have worked with 3 cohorts of interns throughout the year, and those interns have been spread around Australia, and we've found it pretty straightforward to lead, engage with our team, and then as the years progress, to engage with business owners. And once we get to a point where we need to then progress to face-to-face meetings, then Pat and I will jump on a plane and go visit those businesses.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to jump on the plane again, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really interested. What are some of what are the biggest challenges that you're seeing now and probably into the future in your industry?
Yeah, look, I think the last 6 to 12 months have been particularly challenging, just given the slowdown in the economy, obviously impact of interest rates, and just the level of uncertainty obviously has come into across all markets, but that obviously extends into small and medium-sized business. So I think for us, it's working with business owners to understand performance, to understand potential, but also working with our investors to understand appetite for risk, and characteristics around cyclicality and managing different types of risks. So I think that has been a challenge for us this year, and I think it's just going to continue to be a challenge for the next 12, or at least for the next 12 to 18 months. I think there's going to be a level of uncertainty across all of the markets, but particularly in and around small business. So I think that just adds to the challenge. It makes Pat and I's job exciting in terms of, we've got to make sure that we know what we're looking for. We've got to understand our investors, and we've got to work hard with building relationships with small business. So it's an exciting challenge.
Yeah, I love that you add exciting to challenge. So tell me about being a business owner. What's been your biggest learning since kind of coming into that role, and a little bit of I know for me, coming from working in the corporate world for so many years, there is a big shift in mindset. What's been your biggest learning?
Yeah, I think, again, I came from the corporate environment as well. And I think it's that, you go from working in a very large team where there's often a lot of support functions, to all of a sudden working with just the two of us. And so the span of responsibility increases, and all those functions all of a sudden feed into the two of us, and we need to manage across all those functions. I think the other thing with working within a small fund and a small business is nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
And striving perfection sometimes it can be a real challenge that you're never going to achieve. And so just by accepting that nothing's perfect, you're never going to achieve that, kind of helps with the way that we look at our opportunities. There's always going to be an element of risk. There's always going to be things and issues to consider, but that's part of the journey, and we just got to work out which ones we can manage and which ones we prefer not to manage. Yeah.
I love that you mentioned resources when going from the corporate world to, I'm now I'm the person that orders the stationery, and actually we can't spend that much on stationery. We're going to go to the lower brand, or we're the IT person, we're the team, the manager, we do it all. And I think that's a big challenge a lot of business owners experience as they come into owning their own business. It's wearing all these different hats.
Yeah, absolutely. And across all those functions, managing our IT systems, managing our finances to keep the fund cruising along. All of those things rest with us now. And I think it's just a good learning experience. I think back to the beginning of the year and compared to where we are almost 12 months down the track. And I think for both of us, we've learnt a lot, and we've had to make sure that, as the year's gone, we've got better at doing all those things efficiently.
Yeah. And now my last question, and my favorite question: if you could go back in time, what's one piece of advice that you'd give yourself when you're first starting out in business?
I think just preparing myself for the emotional journey. I think running small businesses is definitely a roller coaster ride. And I always knew there would be challenges, but I expected them to sort of be, financial or, along the lines of the different business functions. I probably didn't anticipate that just the emotional roller coaster ride. And that goes for me, it goes for Pat, and I think goes for our families. We both have young families, and they come on the journey as well. And that's both the good and bad. And so if I think back to as we were preparing for this, it would be making sure I was prepared for that emotional journey.
Yeah, very good point. Been there, done that. And you're right, though. There is definitely, it's a bit like a roller coaster, isn't it? You have the highest of highs, but you can have the lowest of lows.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it can feel very lonely at times as well.
Yeah, again, a very big difference to the corporate environment where you've got large teams and there's generally someone to reach out to. All of a sudden, when it's just the two of you and we're not in the same location, it does get a bit lonely at times. And yeah, you've got to purposely reach out to people within your network to make sure that you're getting advice and guidance when you need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good advice there. Having a network, I highly recommend it. And you guys are on different time zones as well.
Yeah, we are, and it's just something else we need to manage. I think it's a bit easier through the middle of the year in the winter. I think we're an hour and a half. I think it's 2.5 hours through the summer. But again, once we get into a routine, it seems to work, and we haven't had too many issues.
Yeah, awesome. Matthew, thank you so much for your time today. I really, really appreciate it. There was lots of great information that you shared with us today. So thank you for your abundance in coming on and having a chat with us today.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure.